Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our lead story of the day is regarding yesterday's White House press briefing, where Fox News reporter Jackie Heinrich questions Karine Jean-Pierre on the cheat sheet that Joe Biden was caught with once again during Wednesday's press conference with the president of South Korea. We're going to break it down for you, folks. Before we jump into anything, as always, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment down below. Your help support would be greatly appreciated. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Can I check it?
Thanks, Green. The LA Times said that their reporter did not submit any questions in advance of yesterday's press conference. So to people who saw that pocket card, can you explain how that ended up there and why the president needed something like that?
So just to step back, and I'm actually glad you asked that question. Clearly, I would let the reporter for Los Angeles Times speak for herself. It is entirely normal for a president to be briefed on reporters who will be asking questions at a press conference and issues that we expect they might ask about. It is not surprising that yesterday we would anticipate questions that he did receive, right, on the visit with the South Korean president, as the South Korean president was standing to his right, or about 2024. That was completely expected, or about the debt ceiling, which he took questions at the end, shouted questions at the end, and of course we would note those issues to him. Those issues to him will likely come up, and let's not forget.
Can we just pause it here one moment, because you're seeing a cover-up and a spin in real time. The question was predicated on the cheat sheet, the pocket sheet that Joe Biden had during Wednesday's press conference, of which he had a reporter's face, what number she was in terms of the order of how the reporters are going to be called on. The question even had his response on it. And she's going to spin it and say, oh, well, it's normal for presidents to be briefed on what type of questions they may be getting. That is true, but that is also a spin. The question was not about that. The question was based on the cheat sheet that Joe Biden had. It is not normal for a president to have a cheat sheet, a pocket sheet that has vetted questions on it and already pre-prepared responses. Why does he need that was the question, Karine. How did it get there? And then her beginning leading statement was, well, I'm going to let the Los Angeles Times reporter speak on behalf of herself, as if she doesn't know how it got there. It was printed out. Somebody had to have created that. It wasn't just kind of wound up in Joe Biden's pocket, just willy-nilly. It just kind of, it just that kind of appeared, which they have ran with stories like that, by the way. If you want a story that's very similar to kind of that idea of like, it just kind of happened, it was a coincidence, is when Joe Biden went to the border and thousands of illegal aliens that were in the streets 24 hours prior just all of a sudden disappeared and weren't there when Joe Biden landed. And she stands up here and goes, well, it's just a coincidence. They kind of just disappeared. They walked off on their own. I had no idea how it got there. That's kind of like what's going on here of, hey, just kind of cheat sheet just wound up in his pocket. Had no clue how that thing got there. But he gets briefed on all this stuff. It's a spinning real time, major cover-up story, folks.
We do these briefings every day, and a lot of the questions that you all tell me, that's how we brief him as well. You all ask me, that's how we brief him as well. So look, we do not have specific questions in advance. That's not something that we do. And in fact,
what? We know for a fact that's a lie, lady. One we just saw on Wednesday, okay? Don't give us this crap. I mean, that right there is a lie. Literally, you had a vetted question and his response already prepared with a reporter that was there in real time that was reading off the damn thing practically when she was given the mic. Furthermore, we've already seen this before. This is not the first time this has happened, where he had a list of reporters on who to call on and pre-question or pre-vetted questions that he was going to receive, and then already pre-vetted answers of which he was going to give. By the way, this is not the first time you've even been given this question in the press briefing, Karine. And she's going to sit there and lie to all of us and go, well, this doesn't happen. It just did. What do you mean it doesn't happen? That's what the whole question's about. It was, how did it get there? And why does Joe Biden need it? She's still rambling on. Like I said, the reason why I say this is the biggest cover-up we've ever seen, you got a president that was elected with dementia or whatever, alleged dementia. We got to be careful legally here. Something's going on up here. Nobody's covering on this or covering about it or talking about, hey, where's the cognitive test for this guy? Where is an actual president standing there where she's standing to receive unvetted questions from the press corps? Well, you receive shouted questions. He receives them. That's not what the press wants. It's not what the American people want. We want a actual president to stand up there and take questions that are unvetted and give us coherent responses that come from his brain. But he can't do it. I think you literally have a guy that was elected that has no clue on what the hell is going on. Why is nobody talking about this? Even Fox, Why is nobody questioning him on this? Every reporter in that room, honest to God, if you want a story, I really do believe this. I really do. This is one of the biggest stories, I think, out there, is that Joe Biden, this isn't working. And that you have the media, you have Karine Jean-Pierre, you have the people in the White House covering for this guy. That's why they're not allowing you to talk with him. That's why they make you shout questions from the back. He can't even hear it.
I would point out the questions that was asked was different than what was on the card that you all saw. And look, again, we have these press conferences. The president takes your questions. Our job is to get a sense of what you all want to ask him. That is our job here, to get a sense of what's
She never answered the question. She's
the news
still
of the
rambling.
day, the topics you all are interested to ask of him, and so that we are all, not just him, we are all prepared to take that seriously and to take that in a way that is going to be reported from our point of view, because we know that you all are reporting out to the American people and want to make sure you get our point of view of how we see these different issues that I even just laid out, whether it's 2024, whether it's what has been discussed or the agenda with the president of South Korea. Again, we take this very seriously, and we want to make sure that we're providing information.
Dude, she is still talking. Diarrhea mouth. The question was, how did it get there, and why does Joe Biden need it? You know, you guys, when you're hearing a BS response and somebody trying to cover up for somebody that has a cognitive disability, by the way that they're talking, giving a long form answer to a very short question.
That's helpful to you and the American people.
How are the reporters decided?
So the way that we have moved forward with this type of process is that we reach out to a number of reporters who we know are going to be at the press conference, and that's what we did yesterday. And also we try to be really mindful and who has not gotten a question in a while. And so, as you know, we could only.
Hold on, didn't she just say that they don't get basically questions ahead of time? But then somebody's like, hey, how do you choose these people? Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. Actually, we contact them ahead of time. Contact them about what? That you're going to call on them? What? What do you contact them about? I'm just curious here. Let's see if she answers it.
We picked 2 reporters yesterday, so that limits our ability on how many reporters we can call on. Mary's not here, but I can say one of the reasons that we picked Mary is because she was just named chief White House correspondent for ABC and had not gotten a question in some time. And we picked the Los Angeles Times, which has not gotten a question in some time. And I want to add that the fact that California has the largest Korean American population in any state in the country.
Again, I'm connecting the dots for you folks because sometimes we might miss it because she rambles on so long and for so much nonsense that comes out of her mouth. Sometimes it gets a little confusing. The cheat sheet had a Los Angeles Times reporter on it with already a pre-vetted question and Joe Biden's response on the other side of the card. She says she has no idea basically how it got there. She's going to let the Los Angeles Times reporter speak for herself. It just, the card somehow wound up in Joe Biden's pocket. Nobody printed it. Nobody designed the thing. Nobody actually sat there and typed in the stuff. It just miraculously appeared in Joe Biden's pocket. Then she goes on to say, well, we don't receive questions ahead of time. Well, how do you choose your reporters, Karine? Oh, well, great question. Oh, we actually call them when we talk to them beforehand. And it just so happens as well, coincidence, all coincidence, that the person they called ahead of time, which is the Los Angeles Times reporter that had her image and question, as well as Joe Biden's response in the card, which supposedly doesn't happen. That was just all make-believe. We didn't actually see that. All those photos you saw, that's not real either. It's just, gaslighting in real time, folks, coming from the leader of the free world, the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre here. It's amazing to me how she's going to say that they talked to them and they got their questions in, although they don't receive these questions ahead of time. And the reporters just miraculously know who's going to be called on because, again, they talked to them. Do you see what's going on here? It's a spinning, it's a lie, it's manipulation, and we're seeing it happening in real time. These people knew that they were going to be called on ahead of time. They gave them the questions that they were going to ask ahead of time. They prepared the president ahead of time. They wrote his response on a card ahead of time. They gave it to him ahead of time. And so when he was asked the question, he already knew it was coming his way because he can't think on his own because he's not up here anymore. He's gone. Joe Biden left the building a long time ago, folks. That brain has not been working for a long time.
Country, and LA has the biggest population of any city in America, and LAT is the biggest daily paper serving that population. So we are mindful on who we pick and who we want to communicate out to, and so that's how we move forward with Mary and Courtney. We thought that is pretty reasonable, wanting to, as we have the South Korean president with us during this press conference, because we wanted to also communicate with the Korean American. So that's usually how we move this process forward.
I'm sorry.
Is it your contention, Kareem?
I'm not taking call.
That the question that
Jackie's
was
not done.
on the
Go
so-called
ahead,
cheat
Jackie.
sheet was
Jackie,
not
your
similar to the
your-
question that was asked at the
Your
press
colleague
conference.
is not
But
done. Go ahead, go ahead.
It's a very reasonable question.
No,
I'm
but
asking.
I
It's
hear
a
you.
very reasonable-
Can you wait your turn?
Absolutely.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. I really do. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead, John.
And just to be clear, to people, skeptics who saw the card and saw the question number one and might think that that is a signal that it was pre-organized. Did the president have other questions that he was prepared, had similar talking points in case he was asked something on other topics in that same?
Jackie, I'm going to be, as someone who is part of his, of the prep briefing with the president for these press conferences, as his press secretary, we talk about an array of topics that could potentially come up. And that's what we do. Just at the end, there was shouted questions, and he took those shouted questions. But we also had a sense that, hey, you might get something on a debt ceiling, which makes a lot of sense, which is one of the news of the day. So we cover an array of topics. It's not just the two Americans who asked questions. It was also the two South Korean reporters who asked questions. So we do our best to make sure that the president is ready to communicate with all of you and the American people. We covered an array of issues, but of course, there are probably the top 5 topics, hot items that you all are interested in, and so that's kind of how we move forward.
And the last one, just on that.
Insane. Again, let me know in the comment section below. Do you think this is one of the biggest cover-ups here? Where you got a guy that was elected without a brain that works? Let me know in the comment section below, folks. She's not going to answer the question one bit. She's going to spin it and manipulate and lie to all of you. And I would also like to point out, folks, Joe Biden is right now probably going to win in 2024. So we don't have our ish together as a Republican Party or conservatives at all. We're even divided amongst ourselves. So right now, the same guy that's in office right now that's screwing everything up, that's screwing you over, your retirement over, your shopping habits over, meaning that you have to pay more at the grocery store for something that you didn't have to pay that much for when Trump was in office. I mean, everything's screwed over right now. You got millions of people pouring across the border. You got China wanting to invade Taiwan. You got Iran wanting to build a nuclear weapon, which Joe Biden somehow wants to negotiate that one over again after what Obama did, which Obama basically handed over billions of dollars to people that want to blow us off the face of the earth, as well as Israel. And that didn't work out so well because now they're just being able to build nukes once again with Joe Biden in office. What the hell else is going on? Oh, Russia's invading Ukraine. You don't think things are getting a little worse? Realistically, folks, if Joe Biden gets in office in 2024 for another 4 years, odds are China is going to invade Taiwan and you have a World War III. That is probably what's going to happen here. Well, in other crazy news, if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, folks, please do so. You are supporting an American patriot. I love this country, and we need to get conservative thought and ideas out there to new viewers. You have the DOJ suing Tennessee to reverse ban on trans treatments for minors. I, honest to God, have no idea why you'd want to be involved with the Democrat Party for a litany of reasons, but you have a party and a president in office that is for mutilating children. And now, when they banned it in Tennessee, the Department of Justice, the Biden administration is for this, by the way. I understand this, they're separated, but they are for this 100%. I'll go a step further in just one moment. But they're for mutilating children. They want to trans your kids. They're all for this stuff. If you ask somebody, I don't know, like 10 years ago, hey, are you for lopping off a child's genitals at like the age of 8 and giving them puberty blockers and hormone enhancers? You'd be like, what the hell's wrong with you? That's insane. Or somebody said 10, 15 years ago, hey, I'm a biological male, but I think I'm a woman. I'd be like, something's wrong with you. In the same way that somebody was like, I see dead people. I see somebody talking to me right now. I can actually see somebody talking to me, like somebody schizophrenic or something like that, like they're hearing voices and weird stuff. You wouldn't enable that, right? You'd be like, oh Oh yeah, Al, no, that's right. Yeah, oh, you see him? Yeah, yeah. No, that person's really there. I see them too. Which you don't, because the person's schizophrenic. Oh, I hear them too. Yeah, yeah, I hear what they're saying. You don't sit there and indulge that with somebody. You go, hey, you need help. You need some big time help. That person's telling me to do something freaky and scary or something evil. You'd be like, whoa, you need to seek help. But for some reason, when somebody goes, well, outside, I'm a man, but internally, I'm a woman, somehow we're supposed to enable that. The other aspect of it is that Democrats are just totally for killing innocent children, which we covered in yesterday's video with Senator Kennedy. Go check out that one if you haven't already. Democrats are just full abortion up to the point of birth. They will not answer the question. The reason why they're not answering the question is because that is what they're for, and so is the Biden administration. Well, check this out. The Department of Justice sued Tennessee on Wednesday over a state law prohibiting transgender hormone treatments and surgeries for minors. Not somebody that's of age, minors. Tennessee's ban on sex change treatments for minors violates the Equal Protection Clause, the DOJ said in a statement. The law discriminates against transgender youth diagnosed with gender dysphoria, blocking sex change treatments for them while allowing non-transgender minors access to the same or similar procedures. Quote, no person should be denied access to necessary medical care. Chopping off your genitals and giving you all this stuff that's irreversible is now necessary medical care just because of their transgender status, said Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark, who leads the DOJ's Civil Rights Division. The right to consider your health and medically approved treatment options with your family and doctors is a right that everyone should have, including transgender children who are especially vulnerable to serious risks of depression, anxiety, and suicide. And by the way, the stats are on the side of when you lop off your genitals, that suicide rate decreases. That's not on the side of them, but they're going to push it as if it is. The Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department will continue to aggressively challenge all forms of discrimination and unlawful barriers faced by the LGBTQI plus community. The Tennessee Republicans Governor Bill Lee hit back at President Joe Biden's DOJ in a statement to the Daily Wire. Quote, Tennessee is committed to protecting children from permanent, life-altering decisions. This is a federal overreach at its worst, and we will work with our attorney, basically their attorney general, to push back in court and stand up for children. Folks, this is so insane that you have an entire party, an entire group of people that as you're watching your 8-year-old eat toothpastes out of a jar or eat just paste in general, they're eating Elmer's glue at school, they don't know how to draw in between the lines correctly, that they're able to dictate whether they are a boy or girl. The same people that watch their own children do knucklehead things and make knucklehead decisions, that can't even balance a checkbook, that don't know anything about life, somehow know everything there is to know about gender, and that they're able to just swap between back and forth on genders whenever they want. And then when they go at 8 years old, I'm a girl, even though they're a boy biologically, I'm a girl, the parent goes, oh yeah, because they're Democrats. Oh yeah, you know, you're a girl. Let's go ahead and lop that pee-pee off. You're never going to be able to actually procreate again. You're never going to be able to, you know, if you're a woman, give birth. It just depends on whatever gender. This is insane. And it gets worse, guys. It gets worse. I know you're like, how the hell could it get worse? Well, Trans Democrats' bill may allow Minnesota to treat pedophiles as a protected class. This is the Democrats, you guys. It's not Republicans. The Democrats want to abort your kids. They want to kill little children. They want to mutilate little children. And now they want to treat pedophiles as a protected class. This is Democrats. I'm trying to keep it together here, folks. It's so insane. I don't have any other word to describe it. I know I use that word a lot. Crazy and insane. Who the hell thought this would be a thing a while ago? Degenerates sexually attracted to children may soon enjoy special treatment as a protected class in the state of Minnesota on account of a new Democratic bill. Not Republican bill. Not Republican bill. Democratic bill. The Human Rights Act is the law prohibiting discrimination in, quote, employment, housing, public accommodations, public services, education, credit, and business, and is enforced by Minnesota Department of Human Rights. The act presently makes it clear in subdivision 44 under 363A.03 definitions that sexual orientation does not include a physical or sexual attachment to children by an adult. Transvestic state representative, Democrat of St. Paul, named Quote, Woman of the Year for Minnesota by USA Today has introduced HF 1655, dubbed the Take Pride Act, which was reportedly incorporated in the Judiciary Policy Omnibus Bill. The state proposed of the bill is to amend the Human Rights Act. You might be going, well, what are they going to amend, Brad? What possibly could they be spending all this time on? Creating a separate definition for gender identity is what they're doing. Removing certain sections in the Human Rights Act that allows for discrimination based on sexual orientation and making a variety of other changes to existing law. The bill specifically targets Subdivision 44 and would remove the clarification that sexual orientation, a protected class under the law, excludes pedophiles. Yes, you heard that correctly, folks. Let me reread that for you. You might go, I have to reread it because it seems so ludicrous that it seems like I'm making this up. Like I wrote this crap myself. I just pulled it out of thin air because it's so outlandish. The bill specifically targets Subdivision 44 and would remove the clarification that sexual orientation, a protected class under the law, excludes pedophiles. Fink, the guy that's basically writing the bill, has defended his measure, suggesting that the clarification falsely insinuated a link between homosexuality and pedophilia. He told Fox News Digital that the measure updates outdated language that incorrectly ties pedophilia to a person's sexual orientation. Quote, nothing in the bill changes or weakens any crimes against children or the state's ability to prosecute those who break the law. Of course, pedophilia is not a sexual orientation. The language never should have been included in the statutory definition in the first place. Crimes against children are located in Minnesota's criminal statutes, and again, they remain unchanged. There are laws in the books concerning various crimes against children and sex crimes more generally, although it is unclear whether unactioned pedophilia might nevertheless be interpreted to enjoy protected status as a consequence of Fink's proposal. Red states indicated that while pedophilia is not in truth a sexual orientation, that is exactly what the language says. Alpha News reported that Republicans intend to strike back with an amendment underscoring that adults with a physical or sexual attachment to children are not a protected class under a Human Rights Act. Folks, this is the Democrat Party for you, and you need to understand this is a party that wants to kill innocent children through the use of abortion. They want to sit there and mutilate innocent children through the use of this trans movement. They want to sit there and indoctrinate your kids in the school system through CRT to make it seem like America is a racist country and is there to oppress people of color. I mean, the falsehoods that is being pushed by this party is insane. You have them wanting to now give pedophilia, or those that are pedophiles, a status of a protected class. People that are targeting children. Why do you think they want to do that? Why, folks? You notice it's trans-democrat. It's a trans-democrat bill because they want to sit there and go and target your children. It's all about children. And you constantly hear them go, I don't understand why Republicans are making all this stuff a big deal. We wouldn't make it a big deal if you would just leave the children alone. Leave them, for the love of God, leave them alone. Just teach them a basic education that they need to be successful in life. Stop trying to trans them. Stop trying to push all this LGBTQ stuff on them. If the parents want them to know about that, then the parent can teach them at home. That's what they can do. They don't need to learn about it in school. They can teach it on their own. It's insane. And Democrats are still going to vote Democrat and put Joe Biden in office in 2024. A guy that's brain's not working. We saw that in the first segment. That's why he needs a cheat sheet card. And we're supposed to pretend like it's normal in the same way we're supposed to pretend like somehow it's normal that somebody thinks that they're a woman when they're a biological male. And we're supposed to think it's normal now that pedophilias or pedophiles should be a protected class. We're supposed to treat that as normal. That it's okay, go after children. Nah, it's fine. I'm at a loss, man. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And when you talk to a Democrat about it, it's not a big deal to them. In the same way, when somebody burns down a building and loots a store, it's not a big deal. They just need it. They need to feed their kids, but they stole a bunch of lip balm. Like, how are they going to feed their kids with that? No, you don't understand. That's a form of reparations for them. They're gonna figure it out. They'll figure it out. It's none of your business. You're a white man. You oppress them. You oppress them. I didn't do anything. Well, no. Your color oppressed them. It's keeping them oppressed. They deserve that lip balm. Well, the other guy stole a bunch of toothpaste. Well, no. See, that's the form of reparations. Well, what? The guy stole freaking hairspray. You guys, this is what's happening. I know it sounds crazy. If you were to see this video 20 years ago, you'd be like, what the hell is this guy talking about? He's off his rocker. Well, it's 2023, folks, and things are about to get way worse because now pedophiles are being a protected class in Minnesota. It starts with Minnesota, goes to California, then it goes to Portland, Oregon, then it goes to Seattle, Washington. Who else knows where it's going to go? Another blue state, New York. Who the hell? I don't know, folks. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. You got to get out there and vote. Honestly, I understand there's some people that have disabilities or whatever. Get vote early. Hand to God, vote early. If there's no other reason to support an American patriot such as the Bald Brad Show here, please go buy my book. Buy it for somebody else. You really see the need to get conservative thought and ideas out there to new readers, folks, and new viewers, from here to Rumble to even literary, right? You got to go over to Amazon, leave us a 5-star review. Heck, even if you didn't buy the book, go leave a 5-star review because we got to get this stuff out there, folks. We destroy the left. It's called Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. You're seeing it. You are literally seeing it. I wish I could just yell to the skies. You are seeing the damage they're doing. They're targeting your children. What else got to wake people up here? Really? You got millions of people pouring across the border. You got them wanting to abort your kids at the point of birth. Look, even if we were to sit there and create an argument for early on abortions, you have somebody that wants to cut up a child at the point of birth, man. And in some cases after birth, which we cover here on the Bald Brad Show. Democrats are for that. They're for mutilating your children, transing your kids, sending them to clubs with you unbeknownst as a parent, have no idea this is going on in the education system and your school. And they're for that. It's all about targeting your children. This is disgusting. It is wrong. And we got to do something about it, folks. We got to sit there. And how can you do something about it? Support shows like this that are going to sit there and expose this crap that they are for. And if we don't do anything about it, Joe Biden's going to be in office once again in 2024. To do something about it, again, leave us a comment down below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Head over to Rumble. Hit those Rumbles buttons. If you're already on Rumble, hit that. If you're on Amazon, buy the book. All sorts of ways you can support the Bald Brad Show. We got to get conservative thought and ideas out there to new viewers, folks. Heck, because this stuff is wild. I'll see you tomorrow. We do have Supernatural Saturday tomorrow, folks. After I'm done recording this, I am going to record an episode, maybe a couple, because Supernatural Saturday is back. A lot of you were asking me, are we even going to do it anymore? Yes, I've just been very busy on Saturday. It's like one day of the week I can get like chores and errands done. So thank you, B, for being understanding about that. And we'll be back here tomorrow for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. See you later, folks.